ancient drawings are discovered in Caribbean caves. Researchers have found thousands of pieces of art nestled in pitch-black caves that were created by indigenous people living on a remote Caribbean island more than 800 years ago. The strange motifs were found far from cave entrances, and researchers say the pre-Columbian artists who created them also took strong hallucinogenic drugs. Many of these peculiar drawings depict human-like images and appear to be transforming into plants and animals, giving experts a unique insight into the spiritual beliefs of a forgotten culture. Led by the University of Leicester, and the British Museum, a team of researchers found around 70 cave systems on the currently uninhabited, and remote Mona Island in the Caribbean. The paper is the result of 3 years of research starting in 2013 that looks at these newly discovered designs, drawn between 1200 to 1590 AD. It is the Caribbean region's largest concentration of indigenous pre-Columbian rock art. The team uncovered multiple rock art sites inside the caves with iconography consisting of human, animal, and meandering designs. Some are painted, or drawn, and others, drawn with the fingers in the soft walls, are more elaborate, and akin to a technique called finger fluting familiar from Paleolithic rock art in southern Europe. For the indigenous population that lived in the Caribbean, caves represented a spiritual space, and this art represents their belief systems, lead researcher Dr. Jago Cooper from the British Museum told Mail Online. Many of these anthropomorphic figures are in the process of transformation. Sometimes they're transforming into animals, and sometimes they'll be transforming into plants. They took cohobu, a hallucinogenic drug that you snort, and it's very powerful, Dr. Cooper said, which might have helped them create these strange designs. Cohobu is made from the ground seeds of the cojobana tree, and produces a psychedelic effect. Most of the drawings are down very narrow spaces deep in the caves, some are very hard to access, and researchers had to crawl to get to them. I believe it is likely they went into the cave for particular rites of passage. Often they are deep underground where there is not much natural light, and would have been led in there by someone with the knowledge, said Dr. Cooper. The further you go into the cave, the more into the spiritual world you go. In the dark, a lot of your senses are totally transformed. It's very eerie, and strange. You are completely out of your comfort zone. It's discombobulating, and the same thing would have happened to the people making this art, he said. Scientific analyses from the team have provided the first dates for this rock art, illustrating that these images are pre-Columbian, made by artists exploring and experimenting deep underground. The conservation-minded approach we used squeezed every bit of information we could out of the discovery using multiple methods that are relevant to the studies of vulnerable rock art worldwide, said Dr. Alice Sampson, co-author of the paper from the University of Leicester School of Archaeology and Ancient History. The cave represented the boundary between the real and spiritual world. For the millions of indigenous peoples living in the Caribbean before European arrival, caves represented portals into a spiritual realm, and therefore these new discoveries of the artists at work within them captures the essence of their belief systems, and the building blocks of their cultural identity, said Dr. Cooper. The paper presents the first results of the dating of the art, as well as insights into the artistic choices made about location, technique, and paint recipes of the time. By identifying the pigments from outside the caves, we've shown intentionality, that people went in there, they went in to make art, Dr. Cooper said. Researchers believe there is still a lot more art to discover. Our research proves the indigenous people were artists who went into the caves to make art, and they have a canon of art that had meaning. Although the artists took drugs while making their art, they did not have parties as such. These are secret and sacred places like a church, and you wouldn't have a party in a church, Dr. Cooper said. Imagine a social networking site, where instead of having a page with posts of people here you have an actual cave wall, or roof full of different pictographs, said Victor Serrano, a PhD student from University of Leicester's School of Archaeology and Ancient History. As a Puerto Rican, these groups of people that visited and lived in Mona Island are my ancestors, and their story is of utmost importance, he said. Researchers say they hope to understand more about the meaning of this rock art over the next 5 years.